What's up, Keep Pounding crew? We're back today with another video. Keep pounding. Today's topic is the Matt Rhule press conference and the rookie signings. If you like this channel, if you like this video, hit that like button, hit that sub button, hit that bell so you select all, and leave a comment down below if you feel like doing so. Let's get into it. All right, first off, rookie signings. We have signed all of our rookie signings players as of July 21st. Very, very happy about that. You know, as I've said in a previous video, all of those players fit all our positional needs, and I'm very, very pleased with that. So we'll see what these rookies can do. I'm excited to find out in the coming month here. That being a prelude to training camp, we still don't know when that's going to happen, if it's being live streamed, and maybe we'll find that out soon. We'll see. But into the press conference. Here's the meat of the order here. And I'm just going to go over the most recent signings that got us to 90. As of right now, as of when I'm recording this, we got down to 80. But I'm going to throw out 4 of the signings that, or big moves that catch everyone's attention here that got us to 90. And I got these notes written down on the 21st, so 24th actually. So, check me on this because I'm just making sure that everything's correct. And I'm updating this a bit late. So we signed punter Joseph Charlton. He's a former South Carolina Gamecock. We signed Adrius Taylor, linebacker undrafted, and we waived Austrian Robinson. We claimed Kavaya Tesnio, linebacker, off waivers, formerly a Pats undrafted player. And as of that point, Pilardi is out for the season with a torn ACL, according to the Bleacher Report, in case you guys missed it from that video. Now into the press conference. So the first quote I got was, football is a game where you can only play great if you trust yourself, trust your teammates, trust coaches, trust systems. That takes time. Brilliant statement, Mr. Matt Rhule. Because every organization is based on trust. Every one of them out there. If you can't trust your coaches, if you can't trust your management, if you cannot trust your GM, you're in big trouble. And that's exactly where we were before we signed Matt Rhule as our head coach. That is exactly where we were. We could not trust Braun. We could not trust any of the staff. We could not trust our offensive coordinator. We could not trust our defense coordinator. The only one I knew that we could trust was our former special teams coach, who is still there, by the way, who was a former player of ours. Y'all know his name. I don't even need to mention it. But trust is everything. And if you don't have that in your organization, you're in big trouble and it's time for a change. And it was time for a change in leadership. Everybody could sense it. Everybody. Everybody around the league was paying attention when it happened too. Half of them were shocked. The other half were not even surprised at all. And you know what? I'm in that crew that's not even surprised at all because I was part of that crew in our fan base that thought this was a great idea. I'm feeling shaky about this right now, as everybody else is that supported that. You know, you look at the roster, feeling shaky about it. Me too. But you gotta trust the process. You gotta trust the coaches. You gotta trust the management, and let's see what happens. Now, a lot of people are going to be questioning, did we make the right move getting Teddy Bridgewater? There's a huge debate going on about that, and I want to address that real quick. Have some faith in the man. Yes, he's a second string game manager, but he's above a game manager. He will get you 6 wins at least in a season. That's as much as Kyle Allen did. And I feel like he might even be able to get 8 once we get all the pieces together we need. But that's not a guarantee. And that's if we get the pieces together that we need. We've been having trouble doing that for the past 6 years and beyond. We actually somehow managed to do it in 2014 and 15. I don't know how we did it, but we did. But that was just right place, right timing, and right manager to get all those pieces together. Anyway, my point is, whether you think Teddy Bridgewater is going to be that 2 to 3 year man that's just here for the short term or for the long term, he is your quarterback now. He is our quarterback now. So, show some respect to the man. Put some points on this man's name. He's our quarterback for the short term. For as long as that contract is still in place. Put some respect on this man's name. That being said, have some faith, trust the man. Now, I know it's going to look bad this coming year. And I'm kind of glad that, when you look at Matt Rhule's record, where he's got that garbage first year record, and then he gets to 10 wins the next season, I'm glad that this first year falls on the year that COVID has destroyed the league in 2020. We should be very, very lucky that fell on this year, where we may not even have a season. That's a good thing in that respect. Now, it's a bad thing in the respect that we may not have a full season. There's a lot of bad involved in that, but that's one of the good aspects that we got lucky on. So, trust the process. Sorry, I kind of went on a rant on that one, so I'll continue with the quotes and stuff here. Speaking about COVID, everyone has to do whatever they have to do, but we're all working together to keep everybody safe. And that is in response to a question about, the player's personal choice, whether they want to opt out or not. Continuing on. There's a question. Do you feel like you are at a competitive disadvantage because you did not get to have all the quarterback camps and things like that in the league? And his answer was, it's a challenge. It's here. I'm going to enthusiastically accept it. That's what you need to hear from your coach going into a situation like this. That's exactly what you need to hear. And I'm going to tell you why. Because we are in a very, very downward spiral right now, questioning everything about what this organization is doing. What's happening? What's going to happen next? We have no idea. We're in I don't even know. We're in questioning land right now. There is no future right now that we know of where we can't figure this out. And we can't put together a roster, a 53-man roster that can be competitive in 2021. I don't see any future where we can't do that. And at least fight for a wild card spot. But that's just trusting the system right now. That's trusting the system. That's my opinion. That may not be yours. And that's fine. But rest assured, they are doing everything they can to accommodate the players, accommodate everything. And that's been a question that's been asked in multiple ways and in multiple sessions, Q&A sessions. So, but I felt like the way it was worded, it was a very relevant question. So, and he's just saying it's here. It's a challenge. It's here. He accepts that it's a challenge. He accepts that it's here. He accepts that there is nothing he can do about it, but he can manage certain aspects of the game and do what he can do. Not what he can't do. He ain't saying what he can't do. He's saying what he can do. That's not what the media wants to hear. The media wants to hear what they can't do. They want a story. Nah. Matt didn't give him that. And I'm proud of him. Because the media has been against us from day one. Y'all know this to be true. Alright, so. Injuries. KK looks like he is in fantastic shape. At the time of this interview, he said Gano looked good. Now, since then, Gano is gone. So, I want y'all to keep that in mind. Question about the evaluation process. He's going to rely on the staff, control what you can control, show what they can do the best at what they do. In other words, be the best player that you can be. Play the best football that you can play. Give 100% in all you do. If you're going to be a leader in the locker room or the video team meetings, be that leader. Be that 110% leader in that video room or that video conferencing room. You know? And that's exactly, I love that about this coach. I love that. Like, he's not afraid to get nitty and gritty and say what needs to be said. You know? He's not afraid to tell you how it is and what he thinks. And I love that. Moving on. Question. How are you going to simulate a game-like environment in camp? He says, practice really hard. They're really competitive against each other, whether you got crowd noise or not. You know, respect each other. And he's going to fill the stadium with music and create distractions. And he said something very, very important at the end of this question. Iron sharpens iron. Iron sharpens iron. I love that. I love that. Maybe that's a Game of Thrones reference. I think it is. But beautifully said. Beautifully said. Because these guys sharpen each other's skills. And you see it year after year, training camp, regular season, postseason. They sharpen each other. They make each other better. You look at, if you want to look at quarterback versus linebacker battles, back when Cam Newton and Luke Kuechly were both healthy. They sharpened each other. They challenged each other. Thomas Davis was a huge part of that too. They went at it in training camp. I mean, it was fun to watch. So I see exactly what he's saying in action because I've seen it when I was watching camp, and you guys can go check out those training camp videos too, and you'll see it yourselves. What are the players and coaches doing right now to combat COVID? Players and coaches are wearing masks in the building and experimenting with communication, personal decisions on working out. They have to wear the mask, but they're not required to. So it's a personal choice whether you want to wear the mask in the weight room or not, basically. I kind of worded that wrong when I wrote it down, but you get the point. And Matt goes on to say, be versatile and accountable. Be versatile and accountable. And that's the best chance for the players to make the team. And I want to highlight the word accountable. How many years, for those of you that have known me from before I started even recording these videos, how many times have I said the word accountable when talking about this team? How many times? I can count hundreds of times, because that should be one of our main goals as a team, as a franchise. We need to hold each other accountable for our actions, for our words, for what we do on the field, for our mistakes, for everything. And that extends to the fan base. We are a representation of this fan base whenever we go out and talk on social media, whenever we post comments, Twitter, whatever. We are a representation of this team as a fan base. So we should be holding each other accountable as well. The coach is leading by example. We need to follow by example. So I like that. But the players should be holding themselves accountable as well. That's a thing. All right. Moving on. There was a question about the offensive coordinator. And he says Joe finds what guys do well and uses that, Apologies, I didn't write well. I was writing this quickly and on the fly because I was busy. But trying to read my writing. Terrible. But yeah, Joe feeds off that and finds what these players do well. And that's exactly what you want in an offensive coordinator. When you're hunting for somebody that is going to lead your offense, lead every part of your game plan, everything. You want somebody that's going to fit these guys in well and knows what they can and cannot do and uses them to their strengths. So, I like that. Question there was a question about the retention of the rookies, and Matt says he's pleased with them. 6 or 7 hours worth of meetings, Mistakes are good. Relax and you can learn from them. You know, don't overreact. Don't, get pissed off. Just learn from them. You know, mistakes are made to be learned from. Not to emulate failure. Failure is just the act of losing at whatever you're doing and learning from it, getting back up, and then succeeding. So and we have the opportunity to learn from all this stuff now. So like that. Cool. The next questions were about Teddy and Joe, and they have a great relationship. Teddy picks up points very quickly. The O lineman worked out with Okung before, or and Matt's been impressed with Will and the backup quarterbacks so far at their retention ratings. Marty liked the new. Oh, okay. Marty liked the new punter that was brought in, and he's been on his radar for a long time. I'm just trying to see what highlights I want to point out in this video. Oh, this is a big one. Contact tracers. Yeah. These guys are using bracelets on their arms to maintain social distancing of 6 feet, and they blink red whenever they're within 6 feet. Now, this is going to escape a lot of people's notices. They're going to ignore this because, it's the second to last question on the video, but I did not. This is critical right here, because this will tell you exactly what group of players were around the sick person. This will tell you exactly when these group of players were together in one area. And it'll give the coaches data that they can use to figure out, okay, we need to separate these players at this certain time. We need to make sure that certain players are not in risking infection with other players. And, and these bracelets are worn like throughout the building, throughout training camp, and everything else. And I think that's a brilliant, brilliant idea. I don't know who developed it. I don't know if they have contracts with the NFL. I don't know if, my thought is that they're testing it on the players before they put it out in market. But if that is the case, that is a brilliant test of this technology. And, my thought is, why isn't everybody using this? It's because they're still testing it. This isn't public market yet. Otherwise, this person would be making billions of dollars by now. We all know this. And, there's no idea what the NFL contract is with it, if there even is one right now, But I feel like it's testing. And it's genius. It's genius. If this works out, I feel like this should be implemented to the mass public, to help enforce social distancing. This will help during protests, so people won't stand within 6 feet of each other, and they can still maintain that 6 feet social distancing rule. People can do this in grocery stores. You name it. You name it. Fast food restaurants. You fill in the blank. But I think it's a great idea. And I think that it should go to open market if it hasn't already. once it's tested properly and it's successful. But and the last part of this Matt Rhule interview focuses on Matt being impressed with Stanley and Thomas Oliver. And he's very impressed with them, and he said he talked about coachability. Coachability is huge, and not a lot of people are going to harp on this, on what they decide to talk about, but I'm going to discuss this because I think it's an important factor. You look at players like Pac-Man Jones, maybe, or I don't know. There's a handful out there, that just do not get along with coaches. They don't get along with players. They don't get along with anybody, and they're just not coachable. You can't get in their heads and work with them and build a chemistry like you can everybody else. And I think that is a huge, huge factor, and we've had such a huge success rate with coachable players. Such a massive, massive success rating with those types of players. But I just wanted to point that out because that's important. Going forward into the season. And all of these things relate to each other, that they're all connected. It's all one system, all one chain. And, it's all one big puzzle. So, that being said, I want to hear your comments and thoughts and comments down below. I know I kind of stumbled through this video, and I apologize. But just bear with me. It's been a few months. So, my channel is just getting back into the gear here with training camp. As you know, like 2 months of that time in between the draft and preseason, there's just nothing there to really report on except for roster moves. So, please be patient. If there's something that pops up, that I feel is important, I will put out a video about it. And please do be sure to check out the Facebook page for Keep Pounding in all caps. Same thing. It's a group. I put the link in the description, or it should be once I get this video out properly tomorrow. But be sure to join that, because I'll be doing some live streaming. And I'll be doing some Q&As, and we'll have some debates. Possibly have some guests on those live streams. We'll see how things roll. I'm talking to some people right now. We'll see how that rolls. But if you would like to be one of those guests, please do leave a comment down below. Let me know that you would like to discuss that with me, and we'll talk about it. Thank you guys so much for your support, all your new subs, all your new likes, and all the comments down below. I love all of you. We're a family, and keep pounding.